The Miller's Legacy. A tale of wisdom and diligence. Long ago, in a remote part of Baghdad, lived an old, humble miller. He had weathered many storms in life, having dedicated his existence to earning an honest living. This path, though challenging, had instilled in him a deep sense of integrity. He had 3 sons, strong and robust like the branches of a mighty tree. One day, the old miller summoned his sons. "My dear ones," he began, "everyone's life, good or bad, eventually comes to an end. You know that death is like a camel, patiently waiting at every door. The sun of my life is setting. Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, I will embark on my final journey, carrying the burden of my deeds to the eternal realm. To be honest, I feel no sorrow in leaving this fleeting world, but my heart aches for this mill. I fear what will become of it after I am gone." The sons, hearing their father's words, spoke in unison. "Father, rest assured, we will do everything in our power to keep the mill wheels turning. We'll ensure the household expenses are met, and no one suffers from the mill's absence." The miller gazed at them with loving eyes. "Nothing is hidden from Allah, my sons. You know that 100 words are worth less than half an action. The gap between word and deed is as vast as the sky and earth. Can I truly hope and be confident that you will act upon my words? If you 3 brothers work together to keep these mill wheels turning, believe me, therein lies your welfare. Or, if you deem one brother more capable, entrust this mill to him. Otherwise, remember, if this mill ceases to operate, you yourselves will starve, and others will curse you." When the old miller finished speaking, each of his 3 sons declared, "Father, I am the most discerning. I will manage the mill well." The old man ordered them to be silent. "Sound judgment will decide this matter," he stated. "I am not prepared to accept any son's claim without proof. Therefore, it would be best to put you to a test, so I can discern who among you is the most capable and can turn the mill wheel most effectively. It is my prayer that all 3 of you succeed in this trial." The sons, eager at the mention of a test, readily agreed. "Father, we are ready for any trial." The old man placed his hands on his knees, stood up, and went to another room. He returned with 3 bundles of walnuts. "These bundles contain walnuts," he told his sons. "Step forward and each take a bundle. Then I will tell you the next step." The 3 sons stepped forward and took a bundle each. The bundles were not heavy, and their father had carried all 3 at once. "Now," their father instructed, "prepare your donkeys for the journey to the city, and take some provisions and money for the road." The sons happily obeyed their father's command, prepared for the journey, took their provisions, mounted their donkeys, and stood before the mill. The father, leaning on his staff, walked over and stood beside his sons. "My sons," he announced, "your test begins now. Go to the city. I have complete trust in Allah that you will go safely and return well. I have 3 old friends in the city. Each of you must go to one of my friends, convey my greetings, and ask them how to earn an honest living in this world. But remember, this journey should not take more than 3 days. It is highly probable that if you delay, you will find my place empty." The eldest son asked, "Father, what will be the outcome of our test?" The father placed a hand on his eldest son's shoulder. "Our entire life is a test. It is true that this journey, like any other, is a small trial. But in these few days, it will become clear for what purpose Allah has created each of you. Now, hurry. Go forth with your brothers. Your task is great and time is short. The journey and its revelations." The sons, hearing their father's words, mounted their donkeys and surrendered their hearts to the journey. As they headed towards Baghdad, their minds were a whirlwind of thoughts. Each brother convinced he would excel in the test and become the mill's rightful owner upon returning to their father. Lost in these thoughts, they continued until they suddenly realized they had traveled a significant distance from their village, and the mill was no longer in sight. Before them lay only the long journey to the city, requiring their continuous effort. After traveling for a considerable time, they grew weary. Suddenly, they spotted a shady, inviting spot in the distance. The middle brother looked at his siblings and declared, "It's time to rest. I think we should eat and drink something. If we keep going like this, our remaining strength will vanish." The other brothers agreed, and they began unloading their provisions from their donkeys. Suddenly, the eldest brother cried out in distress, "Alas, "Did you see what happened?" His two brothers rushed forward asking, "What's wrong? What calamity has befallen us?" The eldest brother pointed to his water skin. Its mouth opened on the way, and all the water has leaked out, drop by drop. "Now I'm worried about what to do." The youngest brother said, "You were very careless. Now we'll face great difficulty quenching our thirst." The eldest brother replied, "It's a strange journey, but such incidents do happen. Let's sit and think." The youngest brother picked up the water skin and said, "The first and most important task is to find water." The eldest brother insisted, "We should gather wood for a fire, but who will go search for water? Who will gather wood? And who will cook the food?" The three brothers were silent, looking at each other. The eldest brother looked at them and said, "The most difficult and important task is gathering wood. I will do that myself. If there's no wood, we can't cook." Saying this, the eldest brother got up and walked off to gather wood. The middle brother, mocking, remarked, "You speak as if you have to dig up a mountain to find wood. In my opinion, the difficult task is cooking. If we have wood and water, but no one to cook, we'll starve." The middle brother had barely finished speaking when he got up and started preparing a stove for cooking. Now, only the youngest brother remained, with the empty water skin before him. He was at a loss as to where to find water. Nevertheless, he did not lose heart. He picked up the water skin and set off in search of water, telling himself, "My brothers have taken on their respective tasks. It would be best if I also succeed in bringing water. We desperately need water for cooking and quenching our thirst." The youngest brother quickened his pace and headed towards the mountain. He knew that springs were often found in mountains, and perhaps he would reach one. He walked and walked, traversing several hills in the mountain range. But no matter how far he went, he saw no sign of water. He worried that he might not find any, and his brothers would die of thirst, ending their journey right there. Then they wouldn't be able to go to the city or sit by their father's side. After a while, he sat down in the shade of a rock. After a short rest, he decided to open his eyes and ears wide, paying attention to the sound of water flowing and rustling. Perhaps he would spot water or hear its sound. Wandering aimlessly would yield nothing. When this new idea came to the youngest brother, he got up and began searching for water in the mountain range again. He was walking along when he heard the faint sound of water dripping from afar. He perked up his ears and followed the sound. He hadn't gone far when he reached a spring. The water in the spring was very scarce. Nevertheless, he cautiously approached and, with great difficulty, filled his water skin and started back. He had only taken a few steps when he stumbled over a stone, fell flat on his back, severely injuring his hands and arms. He struggled to get up and first checked the water skin, which was still intact. Relieved, he didn't even tend to his wounds and continued onward, eager to reach his brothers as soon as possible. When the youngest brother arrived, he was surprised to see both his older brothers asleep, in a deep slumber, as if dreaming of 7 kings. The middle brother's sleep was deeper than the eldest's. He had also opened his bag of walnuts, and the shells were scattered everywhere. The youngest brother woke them up. As soon as they awoke, they pounced on the water skin and gulped down the water. When they were satisfied, they began to complain. "Do you know where you've been? We were overwhelmed by thirst and fatigue, so we fell asleep. Even though you took the water skin, you must have been sightseeing." The other brother added, "Alas, if I had gone for water myself, I would have brought clean and pure water and wouldn't have taken so long, whereas a lot of our time has been wasted." Both brothers vented their frustrations, and the youngest brother listened in silence. After that, they cooked and ate their meal, then packed their belongings. They then resumed their journey, tired, hungry, and thirsty. The 3 brothers finally reached the city of Baghdad. As soon as the youngest brother set foot in the city, he said, "I will go straight to my father's friend and deliver his message." The middle brother said, "There's no need to go anywhere right now. It's not like the stew will get cold. We'll be in this city until tomorrow and the day after. Our bodies are exhausted from fatigue, so I will rest all day today." The eldest brother said, "If I weren't so tired, I would certainly go. But right now, I need to rest. After that, I will go to the market and buy something. For many years, I've wanted to buy a beautiful pair of shoes." Seeing the situation, only the youngest brother remained, determined to go ahead of his brothers and deliver his father's message to his friend and inquire about ways to earn an honest living. The true success. The next morning, the middle brother arrived at the house of his father's friend and knocked on the door. His wife opened it and said, "My husband was unwell, so I brought a prescription from the doctor. He has gone to the pharmacy to get the medicine. If he returns by noon, you will certainly meet him." The middle brother was impatient and in a hurry. He said, "I have other errands in this city. If not today, then certainly by tomorrow we will meet. So, I will leave now and return tomorrow at sunrise." He said this and returned to the inn where his brothers were. Meanwhile, the eldest brother had gone to buy shoes. When he reached the market to buy shoes, he began to inquire about their prices. He realized he didn't have enough money, so he went looking for his brothers and explained his predicament. But his brothers were as empty-handed as he was, so they hung their heads and said nothing. When the eldest brother lost hope in his siblings, he decided he would have to sell the bag of walnuts to buy the shoes. He returned to the market, sold the walnuts, and bought his desired shoes. At sunrise the next day, the middle brother once again arrived at his father's friend's house and knocked on the door. After a long wait, he received no answer, so he understood that the owner was out. Thus, the third day of the middle brother's journey also ended. Now, all three brothers were sitting in the inn, preparing for their return journey the next day. They chatted about various things, recounting what they had seen and heard in the city. Then, the youngest brother asked, "What work remains for us?" The middle brother said, "The task entrusted to me, I have completed. I only couldn't deliver my father's message because his friend was traveling. Now I have no remaining task." The eldest brother said, "If you ask me, I also have no work left to complete. I only came here to buy shoes, which I have bought, and I have also sold the bag of walnuts. Only the message remains to be delivered, and I will do that tomorrow." The youngest brother said, "We should leave tomorrow morning. You remember father said that if you return late, you might not see me." The eldest brother was eager to hear such things. He was pleased and said, "It's good that you reminded me. So, if father asks, I will say that my first and most important task was to deliver the message, but it was late, and your friend had gone on a journey, so I thought it best to return quickly and reach home." The next morning, when the three brothers woke up, they packed their belongings and set off for home. On the way, the eldest brother was particularly cheerful. He would say with every statement that their father would surely praise his intelligence and understanding, and that their work was fruitless and unproductive in comparison. "Our youngest brother didn't even touch the walnuts," he boasted, while the middle brother ate a few from his bag and amused himself. "But I made full use of them and sold them to buy shoes. True wisdom would have been for you to do the same and return successfully." When the middle brother heard this, he put his fingers in his mouth in astonishment and dismay. "Alas!" he exclaimed, "why did this thought not occur to me? Why didn't I do the same? Surely father will make you the owner of the mill because of your wisdom, and we will face embarrassment there too." The three brothers were engrossed in their own thoughts, and finally reached their village and home. When they appeared before their father, he said, "My sons, go now, bathe, put on clean clothes, and come to me after some rest." The three brothers went, bathed, put on clean and bright clothes, ate their meal, and refreshed themselves. Then they presented themselves before their father to recount the events and circumstances of their journey. The old miller looked at his sons and said, "Now, each of you, one by one, narrate the incidents that occurred during your journey." Each son told his story, from beginning to end. The old miller listened to each son's words with great attention, and after pondering for a while, he pointed to his youngest son and said, "After me, your youngest brother is capable of keeping the mill wheels turning." The middle brother objected to his father's decision, but the old miller took a deep breath and said, "The first reason for my decision is that when you were exhausted from hunger and thirst on the way, it was your youngest brother who girded his loins to perform the most difficult task. He went in search of water, and despite being injured, brought back the filled water skin. The second reason is that he guarded the trust I placed in him very well. I did not tell you to eat the walnuts or sell them. And the third and most important reason is that he fulfilled his duty in the best way possible, acting upon it. As soon as he entered the city, in the very first opportunity, he delivered my message to my friend and inquired about ways to earn an honest living. This is why I am making your youngest brother the owner of my immovable property, this mill. He is capable of undertaking difficult and arduous tasks. He will turn the mill wheel well, protect people's trust, meaning their wheat and flour, and will not betray it. He will also ensure that he fulfills the promises he makes to his customers. Therefore, no one will be able to accuse him of treachery or dishonesty. Thus, from today onwards, he is the owner of this mill. The father took a deep breath and looked at his other sons, saying, "If you want to say anything, you can say it freely. Is this mill rightfully your youngest brother's or not?" The eldest and middle brothers had no courage to say anything, so they stood silently and began to praise their youngest brother's performance. After this, the youngest brother continued to turn the mill wheels for many years, serving the people throughout his life. He lived many years in this fleeting world, and the people living around him acknowledged his honesty. Dear friends, how did you like this story? Please share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching the video.